Though we have all traveled many uncertain roads, we have always recognized something wasn't right. We searched high and low, yet our paths had never intersected. Our desire to seek truth, then to speak true, has brought us all together. That thing of ours is rooted in truth, because truth is the only unshakable foundation. In the greatest book, it states in John 8:32, "For ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free."
Truth is a powerful force. It is the foundation on which all great achievements are built, and the bedrock of trust and respect in any relationship. When we are rooted in truth, we can be confident that our decisions and actions are grounded in reality rather than in speculation or wishful thinking.
The pursuit of truth is not always easy. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to face uncomfortable facts. But in the end, the truth is always worth it. It allows us to make better decisions, to build stronger relationships, and to create a more just and equitable world.
From politics and world events to entertainment and pop culture, we've got you covered. We'll explore our history and the stories that matter to uncover the truth that lies at the heart of each one. With our fingers on the pulse of the news cycle, we'll provide the insights and analysis you need to stay informed and engaged. As we stay rooted in truth and let the truth guide us in all that we do, let us be willing to listen, to learn, and seek out the facts, even when they challenge our own assumption or belief.
Let us never forget that the pursuit of truth is not just an individual endeavor, but a collective one. Only by working together
With honesty and integrity,
can we build a better future for ourselves
And for generations to come.
This is That Thing of Ours. How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us today on this Monday, 28th of July, 2025. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, Locals, and Pill.net.
and if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. And if you're on Facebook, you got like 7 choices. So run over there and clickety click.
Clickety click, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We truly appreciate you showing up. Y'all make our day bright too.
Yes.
So, well, it's Monday. It's been interesting. So, yeah, we're going to just go ahead and jump right into saying hi to the fam.
We are.
I was
Hey,
just
Mike.
moving on with my own thing. Hey, Mike, what's going on, man?
We got Sea Strike in the house.
What's going on, Sea Strike?
If the mouse would work.
Work, mouse.
Right.
Let's see. What else you got there? I know we got other peeps.
Yeah, we got Angie in the house.
There's Angie. Hey, Angie. I know Aaron showed up. What's going on, Aaron?
There's F. Clint.
Yo, F. Clint. Yeah, there he is.
Aaron is working and lurking, working lurk away.
Work and lurk away, sir. Hope your sales are going well. Oh, yeah, and I just wanted to put this out here. Apparently, some of y'all might be feeling Q post number 3529. While Congress is away, the month of August is traditionally a really hot month. Nature is unpredictable.
Yes.
Oh, man. So, oh, there's Liberty. What's going on, Liberty? Howdy, friend.
Why is it not moving?
It just popped up. There we go. There he is. What's going on, man?
Hey, Liberty. And
short today.
Santino. Santino got some emotes done.
Yeah, I got some emotes done today. Although I am disappointed with the pants on fire one. It's so small. You can't even see Homer's pants on fire.
That's okay.
Whatever.
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. We'll get it figured out eventually. You know, computers trying to learn a whole new, like job with
Right.
Creative Suite.
Hey,
It is what it is.
we're getting there.
We're getting there. We'll figure it out. Got lots of stuff to learn.
Mhm.
Deep learning curves.
Yep. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go ahead and jump right in.
Okay. So, would you read that, please?
Did you see what Liberty just said?
Yeah, it's so
It's
hot.
so hot. I tried to fry an egg on the pavement and it ran off. That's good. That's good.
That's good.
Oh, man. So, okay. So, want me to go ahead and read this?
Yes, please.
All right, let's see what it says here. David Schoen breaks down what charges ex-Obama intel officials could face over Russiagate.
Let's listen.
What kind of accountability could Brennan face? Could Comey face? I mean, we just played the clips right there where they lied under oath before Congress, yet according to those declassified documents, they already knew that the president had not colluded with Putin, yet they went and testified before Congress that they believed he had. So what kind of accountability repercussions could Obama, Comey, and Brennan at the least face?
Let's put President Obama to the side just for a second. As for the others, I mean, if the evidence really shows what is being talked about now, and it can be proven, then certainly those others could be charged with seditious conspiracy under 18 U.S.C. 2384, undermining our government, undermining the will of the voters, certainly obstruction of justice, certainly perjury. They'd all be entitled to the presumption of innocence, but those are the kinds of charges that could be brought.
There we go. I mean, those are the kind of charges that we can expect to be brought. There should be charges, most definitely, because of, well, just the lying, destroying of the public trust, and just overall, like, being scam artists. Yeah, exactly. Bunch of clowns. They are clowns. Well, I don't know if he's calling Aaron that. No, I don't think so.
No.
Anyways, so yeah, I mean, this is all part of the setting the foundation for what's going to be coming. It's not going to be a surprise. And there's some really interesting news. I think one of them was a news article that's just read talking about how the Democrats only have like 30% approval. Like people are bailing out of the Democrat Party now. You didn't get that one? Yeah, because there's always so much stuff going on, and it was kind of a busy weekend, lots of stuff, and I know we ended up missing some of the things, but this is why people are bailing out, because they're finally able to recognize all of the lies. They're seeing the deceit, the deception, and in the end, counter to everything that is the United States or what we expect out of our government. Of course, it's just individuals in the government. It's not the whole government. And I know that a lot of people start to just paint broad brushstrokes with that, which can be understandable at times. But at the same time, we have to make sure that we are focusing directly on the people who are abusing their positions of authority. They stop being authoritative and they destroy the faith and confidence in the government. So something must be done, and the government has to do something, because if the government loses the faith and confidence of the people, then what is it? So yeah, something must be done. Mike says Obama will have no protection. He will go down too. I believe he will. I don't know how he's going to play it, but I do believe that he's going to try to claim Kenyan citizenship, which, everybody already knows that he was born in Kenya anyways. It was all a bunch of lies as to how he even got to be president of the United States. But it's something that must assuredly be taken care of.
Yes, very much so.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
There's Carol. Hey, Carol.
Hey, Carol.
And I know Dawn's in tow.
Yes. Hey, Miss Dawn.
And Miss Dawn.
Ready?
Yes. Happy
Would you
holiday.
read that, please?
Sweet. All right, here we go. Russ Vaught says economic plan will lead to a third of what's necessary to balance the budget.
Oh, wait. That doesn't go
Wait,
there.
what? Huh? What? I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's one. Can you read that one?
Oh, we're doing the wrong one. Okay, you just want me to use the monocle. I appreciate it anyways. Here's the long shot play to put Barack Obama behind bars.
Let's listen.
Let's listen.
For the past week, I've had to deliver some pretty unfortunate analysis regarding the prospects of Barack Obama ever seeing the inside of a jail cell. Even President Trump came out and said, yeah, it's probably not going to happen. Other analysts have come out and said, yeah, it almost certainly cannot happen because of his presidential immunity. You'd have to prove that he was acting outside of his role as president of the United States, outside of his Article 2 powers, and it's probably not there. Chances are slim to none. But there is a pathway. There is one way that we could actually see Barack Obama getting the justice that he's due. And for that idea, I turned to David Schoen. This is a man who understands, an attorney. He understands this stuff better than I do. And he specifically understands impeachment better than I do. After all, he was one of President Trump's impeachment attorneys. Here's what he had to say.
President Trump is right when he said the immunity decision would help President Obama. But you know what it doesn't help him with? Impeachment. According to the Democratic Party and the House managers in the second impeachment trial, a former president, once out of office, is still subject to impeachment. In other words, they've argued Lincoln could be impeached, George Washington impeached, and certainly, as I predicted at the time, this would come back, they would rue the day because President Obama could be impeached if this evidence really says what it says. And that it could also strip him of the immunity because under Article 1, Section 3, Clause 7 of the Constitution, the Democrats argued it bars one from holding further office, and the language itself says you're still subject to criminal prosecution or indictment. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, I get it. It's a long shot. I know, but hey, you know, at this point, we don't know what's going to come out from more to come from Tulsi Gabbard. And yes, John Ratcliffe, CIA director, did declare over the weekend that he's got a lot more coming out. So who knows? Maybe there's going to be enough to get Democrat support. You don't really need it. If you could get all of the Republicans in the House, then you're fine. But in the Senate, to actually get a conviction, to get a full-blown, he's impeached and he's stripped of all of his presidential powers, that would require Democrats. As a matter of fact, even if you were able to get all of the Republicans, you'd still need 14 Democrats to sign on as well. Long shot. I get it. But you don't know. We don't know. I mean, if God wills it, then so be it. Some damning bad stuff could come out about Barack Obama that could even compel some Democrats to have to reluctantly vote to prosecute his impeachment. And if that ever happens, then yes, we would assume that whatever it is that prompted even Democrats to do it, well, I'm sure it'd be enough to get criminal charges, indictments, arrest, prosecution, and maybe even jail time for Barack Obama. Long shot, Hail Mary. Nah, I'll take it. We can dream a little bit, can't we?
Thoughts? All right. Sounds like we're kind of getting set up a little bit so we don't get our hopes up that Obama's going to receive the justice that he deserves. And you know what? If that's the case, so long as he does get impeached in the end and the truth comes out, it will create something different for the future and might actually force the legislative branch to strip away some of these immunities that are being utilized, especially when it's part of a grand conspiracy to I guess, usurp the power of the United States for political purposes. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work out, but an impeachment would most certainly be the first step. And the Senate has the ability to go ahead and do that conviction and issue the punishment there. I have no idea what the Senate will do, but I figure if they go ahead and get some of these other people like Raskin, who was most certainly involved, and some of these other elected-ish officials, then I think that it would make it a much clearer path to have our legislative branch do some of the things that they need to do for justice in this nation. But we'll see how it plays out. The fraud is something that's that's really difficult to deal with, and it bothers me because it sounds like they're kind of tamping down all of the people's expectations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah. So keep your hopes up, keep pressing forward. That's really the best we got.
Would you read that, please?
Certainly. Let's see. Byron Donalds defends investigation of Russiagate.
Let's listen.
Congressman Crow saying that
What's up, Unchained?
everybody knew everything
Thank
they
you.
needed to know. This isn't new. Your reaction?
My reaction is first to Mr. Crow. This information might have been there, but are we going to assume that the Biden administration was going to bring the necessary investigations? Understand, Joe Biden was vice president under Barack Obama. We know the history. And if it is Barack Obama's administration that ordered a new intelligence briefing, not based on any facts or any merits, but based upon the Steele dossier, that demonstrates why the former presidential administration under Joe Biden did not look into any of this because they were covering up for the previous Democrat administration. That's number one. Number two, we all know that the Steele dossier was fake. And then when they ordered a new intelligence briefing, it was then Mr. Brennan who was overriding senior intelligence officials in the intelligence community who did not want to even go down the road of substantiating claims that the Russians were putting up Donald Trump as a stalking horse. That is the facts. Those are the histories. The reason why it hasn't been investigated is because Trump's first administration was frankly under a firestorm for 4 years dealing with the false intelligence from the Obama administration about Russia. We know the Biden administration wasn't going to investigate that. I mean, for crying out loud, they did everything wrong. So now it's left to DNI Gabbard to release the documentations and then also provide the referrals to the Department of Justice so we can finally get a true accounting, a true investigation. And then if there were criminal activities, people need to be prosecuted for that as well.
Thought.
There it goes. And that pretty much kind of talks, goes with a little bit of what Mike was saying. They're going to get these people on other charges that are not covered by presidential immunity. And all of this stuff, it all ties together. And I think we're going to get to it about what they did to General Flynn, all of these things. And there's only going to be so much that they can juke and jive, dip, dive, duck, and dodge. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball kind of thing. But they're not going to be able to dodge all of it. There's just no way. There's too much. There's a mountain of evidence. It's pointing to specific players. And I know that there's going to be at least one, if not two people that are going to turn to try to save their own ass. And I hope that they're able to convince people to go ahead and tell the truth about the real corruption that was happening within this country to, well, steal it from the American people.
Yep.
That's just, how can we accept that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Would you read that, please?
All righty. Shock. Lady. Really? Okay.
I didn't write it.
Well, I know you didn't write it, but I got to read it. Anyways, shock. Lady Lindsey Graham actually pushes back against fake news Kristen Welker over Russia hoax.
Let's listen.
Russia.
Senator, as you know, former President Obama has weighed in through a spokesperson. He says that's just patently false. I actually spoke to Susan Miller, who's a former senior CIA officer who helped oversee the 2017 intelligence assessment on Russian interference. She says it's completely false that Obama or anyone else asked them to change or sway their investigation. She says she says, and she's a Republican, says they all would have quit if that had happened. Senator, are you trying to rewrite history to distract from the Epstein matter, Senator?
No, I'm trying to let you know and the media know that we found something we didn't know before. At the end of the day, I'm not calling for a prosecution against President Obama for treason, but I am calling for an investigation. Mr. Miller also said there was no credible evidence that President Trump colluded with the Russians. For years and months and days and weeks, people had their lives turned upside down, chasing the Mueller narrative that Trump was in bed with the Russians, that the Trump campaign was colluding with the Russians. The only people colluding with the Russians were the Hillary Clinton campaign and Christopher Steele manufacturing a document to get warrants against Carter Page based on lies and falsehoods. So, yeah, I'm very familiar with it. What you don't seem to acknowledge is there's something new being found. Rather than reinventing the wheel here, let's go back to a special counsel model to look at this something new. The something new is statements by President Obama. I don't like your analysis. Russia wasn't involved here in 2016.
Senator, you're saying there's something new. This report goes back to 2020. It's 5 years old. There's actually nothing new in this report and nothing that changes any conclusion. But I want to talk about Gaza.
Turned over is new to me.
Senator,
it's new to me.
But Senator,
you're trying to sweep this stuff under the rug, and that's not right.
All right. So, yeah, it looks like they're pointing more and more to the fact that the Clintons are going to end up taking the fall for most of it. And you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if Barack Obama wasn't He's pretty smart dude, and he probably knows how to cover his ass in so many ways. Geez, even if they pin it all on the Clintons, it still exposes so much. I don't know why he's going to kind of get the save somehow. I'm not sure. I find it disappointing, but it's up to each and every person to push, because we know what happened. We know that he was involved. Or was he that does he expect us to believe that all Harvard graduates, even if they graduate at the bottom, are so incompetent that they're not going to be able to tell that there's some kind of grand conspiracy that, that the president of the United States isn't going to, that's going to happen right underneath his nose in the White House? It's a bunch of crap. Of course, then again, they always feed us a bunch of crap. But this is one of those things that kind of points to the two wings, one bird kind of concept. And I don't like that. So in the end, there's still going to be a ton of work to do.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Would you read that, please?
All right. CIA Director Ratcliffe confirmed more evidence in the Russia collusion hoax is about to drop.
Let's listen.
All right.
Oh, wait. Carol said something.
Okay. Carol says all of them are going down. I pray that we get justice, real justice.
Yeah.
That would be nice. And you know what? Maybe they're just putting it on the Clintons right now. Maybe it's to fire people up because they have it all. And you can't tell me with the emails that we've seen, with hot dogs and spaghetti and ice cream and all that other crap going between all of them, that Obama is absolved from any and all of that. It just doesn't make sense. But maybe the information needs to keep rolling out so that way this exposure can happen. So that way more of the left, which is continuing to leave the left and come center, is going to accept more of this information, so that way justice can finally occur.
Yep.
We'll see. Patience, my friends.
Yep. Let's listen.
Yeah, let's listen.
Referrals to the DOJ.
Well, Maria, so part of what came out last week was about how John Brennan, Clapper, Comey, they all pushed the known fake Steele dossier into intelligence community assessments and as the basis for Crossfire Hurricane and all that. But what hasn't come out yet, and what's going to come out, is the underlying intelligence that I have spent the last few months making recommendations about final declassification and sent that to the Department of Justice that will come out in the John Durham report classified annex. And what that intelligence shows, Maria, is that part of this was a Hillary Clinton plan, but part of it was an FBI plan to be an accelerant to that fake Steele dossier, to those fake Russia collusion claims, by pouring oil on the fire, by amplifying the lie and burying the truth of what Hillary Clinton was up to. And you're right, Maria. John Brennan testified to John Durham in August of 2020. He also testified to the House Oversight Committee in 2022. Hillary Clinton testified before John Durham under oath in 2022. James Comey testified before the Senate committee in September 2020. All of that's within the last 5 years. And much of that testimony is, frankly, completely inconsistent with what our underlying intelligence that is about to be declassified in the Durham Annex, what that reflects. And so, Pam Bondi does have a strike force. It is a different Department of Justice, a different FBI, and an opportunity to look at how these people really did conspire to run a hoax, a fraud on the American people and against Donald Trump's presidency. And so coming forward, we understand that they did this, but now we need to understand how they did this. And I think that's why you see the left losing their minds over this, Maria, saying, why are you spending time? This is vindictive. You're going back. This is Donald Trump, seeking retribution. It's not. Donald Trump's election by the American people was a statement, Maria. They said to everyone, we know what you did to Donald Trump, and we reelected him because we know this was all fake. We know it was a hoax. Now we want to understand how you did it so that it can't happen again. And that's what this declassification process that we're undergoing right now, what's going on, why it's so important. and why there can be accountability and preventability to prevent these same people that did it in 2016 with the Steele dossier, with the Hunter Biden laptop in 2020, from doing it again in the future.
So what I think I hear you saying is there is still an opportunity for.
All right. All right. So it sounds like there's other fish that they're trying to fry right now, and that is how the intelligence community is set up. And that's going to be a big thing overall moving forward, because that's where a lot of these games were played against a person who was elected as the president of the United States, well, 3 times, but hey, Chops, thanks for joining. Anyways, someone who was elected 3 times for the presidency of the United States, and they were going out of their way to try to deny the people of the United States, the citizens of this country. Meanwhile, they were bringing illegal immigrant invaders into this nation. There is a treason involved, especially there's a lot of smoke, and the lawyers should have an easy time trying to prove it. He said that they're trying to figure out the how. And in a post-mortem kind of situation, we do want to know the how, because if we can figure out the how, we can figure out how to prevent it. We can also figure out all of the players involved. And that's really, in the end, what we're going for. And an example needs to be made out of these people.
Yeah.
So that
Very
way,
much
in the
so.
future, people understand. If we go lightly, I don't know if it will send the message that needs to be sent.
Correct. And
I know that's not very Christian or forgiving, but there's a difference between so many crimes and crimes against everybody that involves a deception of the entire nation. It was a crime against the entire nation. It was an attack, and it should be dealt with accordingly.
yeah, absolutely. How about some Kelly?
Yeah, we could use some Kelly.
Let's listen.
All right.
All right. So in regards to Judgment Day, Jesus says, not all who call out to me, Lord, Lord, will enter into the kingdom of heaven. What that means is there will be people that he's going to say, depart from me. I never knew you. No, I know. That's a scary scripture, bro. So let's actually take a look at this scripture today. And let's figure out exactly who Jesus is talking about when he says, depart from me, I never knew you. Because the truth is, so many Christians live in fear that this is them. So let's break this down and make sure it's not you. Matthew 7:21-23 says, and this is Jesus speaking, by the way, not everyone who calls out to me, Lord, Lord, will enter into the kingdom of heaven. Only those who actually do the will of the Father will enter. On Judgment Day, many will say to me, Lord, Lord, we prophesied in your name. We cast out demons in your name. We performed many miracles in your name. But I will reply, I never knew you. Get away from me, you who break God's law. That's heavy. So first, let me start by saying this. I grew up my entire life hearing this scripture in church. And I always thought it was talking about sinners, worldly people, the lost, those far from God. Because, that makes sense to me. But that's not what scripture said at all. Pay attention. He said, Lord, we prophesied in your name, cast out demons in your name, performed miracles in your name. You're telling me Jesus is going to say to those people, depart from me, I never knew you? All right, I must be missing something. Who are these people then? Well, I'll tell you, they're Christians. These are the people who have been sitting in the pews next to you every Sunday, week after week, year after year. People you have prayed with, that you're close to. Okay, that's not very comforting. Now I'm really worried. Is it me? How do I know? Well, I am so glad you asked. So the best way that I can think to explain this to you is like this. When I was growing up in the 90s, there was this ad that ran everywhere. TV, radio, commercials, magazines. You could not escape this ad campaign. And that ad was this: secondhand smoke kills. Oh, 90s kids, you remember that? They shoved that down our throats so we were blue in the face, man. And it worked, too. I remember at 10 years old walking into Chili's. My mom and dad walked in. A lady blew some smoke, and I walked through it. I ran into the restaurant shouting, I've got cancer! My mom was like, no, Kelly, that's not how it works. I'm like, yes, it is. I've seen the ads. And don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not downplaying secondhand smoke. It's bad. But do you know what I think is going to be way more damaging to people than secondhand smoke? Secondhand Jesus. You see, the people in this verse that Jesus is talking about, they have lived their entire Christian lives on secondhand Jesus. Oh, what is secondhand Jesus? Secondhand Jesus is when you base your walk with God on somebody else. It's your relationship with Jesus solely being based on someone else's relationship with Jesus. You know, I go to church because my mom always went to church, so I go too. Her grandma went, my great-great-grandma went, so we just go to church. My girlfriend loves Jesus, and she is so fine, so I love him too. All my friends go to church, and they love Jesus, so yeah, count me in. Secondhand Jesus is when you try to access the Father through somebody else other than Jesus. Now, right now, some of you might be thinking, that's ridiculous. This doesn't happen. No one would ever live that way. Oh, really? It wasn't long ago I got asked to go to a church and pray for an 80-year-old man who had just had a heart attack. The first thing I asked him when I sat down was, do you have a relationship with Jesus? And this is what he said to me. Yeah, my mom did, so I'm good. Excuse me? I said, can you explain that? He said, my mom prayed for all of us kids. She went to church and prayed for us all the time, so I'm going to be in heaven with her. He has been living his whole life on secondhand Jesus. You see, this man was fully convinced that because his mom had a relationship with Jesus and because she prayed over him, he got to go to heaven too. Sadly, however, that's not how this works. There are going to be so many people that get to heaven. They know all the scriptures. They can sing along with all of our songs. They know the Christian words and they've got the bumper stickers. They never missed a Sunday service, but they also never got to know Jesus for themselves. That, my friends, is secondhand Jesus. You see, I don't know about you, but I don't want to get to heaven one day and finally get to look at Jesus and say, man, I am so happy to see you. Only to find that he looks back at me and says, but who are you? Jesus, quit playing. It's me, Kelly K, the guy on TikTok. I make like really good videos for you. No, it doesn't ring a bell. Jesus, come on, man. I preach in churches every Sunday. I travel and do ministry for you. I pray for people. No, still not sure. Jesus, come on, it's me. I give money to ministries and to the poor. I help you. Oh, wait. Is your mom Echo Cop? Yes, now you're getting it. Yeah, I love her. She's here. She was on fire for me. She's amazing. I knew you'd remember. That's my mom. Oh, and your grandma, Cleo Cop? Yes, you got it. That's my grandma. Oh, yes, she's here. I love her. She's amazing too. But who are you? You see, the truth is, unless you have a real relationship with Jesus yourself, no one else can do the work for you. As good looking as your boyfriend may be, he can't take you to heaven with him. As amazing as your mom, dad, grandma, or grandpa may have been, they can't take you to heaven with them either. You see, this verse says only those who actually do the will of my Father will enter the kingdom of heaven. Yeah, well, that's great for you, Kelly. You're a preacher. You know the will of God for your life. What about me? What, you want to know the will of God for your life too? I'm so happy to tell you. It is so simple. Enter into a relationship with Jesus by calling on his name and believing in your heart that he is the Son of God and that he paid the way for you. Get in his word and let it set you on fire. Burn as bright as you can for Jesus. And then go spread that fire as far and as wide as you can. If you do that, when you get to heaven, oh son, Jesus is going to be waiting for you. He's going to be standing there posted up with a high five and me right next to him saying, we've been waiting for you. You see, you can do all the good works in the world in the name of Jesus, but unless you actually know him personally, it's never going to be enough. Unless you receive the gift that he died on the cross to give to you, no matter what else you do, it will never be enough. So let me encourage you today. Don't live in fear of this verse anymore. If you know that you know that you know that you have a relationship with Jesus, you've got nothing to be afraid of. Judgment Day for you has already come and gone. It happened 2,000 years ago on the cross. Jesus bought that for you. So if you've made Jesus Lord of your life, you tell the devil to shut up and go back to hell. Stop whispering in my ear, son. I know what Jesus bought and paid for me. Go sell your lies somewhere else, because I know who I am. However, if you're watching this right now and you're realizing that you've been getting by on secondhand Jesus, I have some really good news for you. You don't have to anymore. Entering into a relationship with Jesus is the most amazing and the easiest thing to do in the world. You ready to make Jesus Lord of your life today? Just let him know that's what you want to do. The Bible says, believe in your heart that he is the Son of God, that he paid the price for you. And if you believe that, then confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord of your life. And if you do that right now, you are saved. Welcome to our family. Now, your next step is to repent of your sins, which does not mean feel awful about everything you've done. That just means you change your mind and you change your direction. I used to follow the world. Now I follow his word. What could be easier than that? So until next time, think about that for a minute.
All right.
Thoughts?
All right. So Kelly, putting that information out there. Secondhand Jesus. Oh man, don't do secondhand Jesus. Don't let other people tell you who Jesus is. We got to have that personal relationship with him. And following his path, letting go of the ways we used to do our walk in life. I know for me, I was very centered on me and thought I knew it all. And you know what? As I've gotten older and wiser, I've recognized I don't know nothing. So it's what do I do? For me personally, I go to the Word every single day and I try to follow what He says. And I know that I'm going to make mistakes, and I know that I'm forgiven for those mistakes because He knows that I'm trying to improve who I am to walk a tighter path, a more narrow path that leads directly to him. And that, I think, is the real point out of all of this is if you get to know him, you can learn to walk the path that he asked us to walk. And if you can walk that path, and you're going to make mistakes, guess what? You're human. We all make mistakes. And so long as you continue to try, as long as you continue to try to improve, that is what he cares about. Don't just write it off. I know I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to go ahead and do this anyways because I know Jesus has forgiven me. No, that's not how it's going to work. And what he was talking about specifically is the same thing that I guess, when my family donated the silver mine to the Pope to pay for the Crusades back in the 1000s to eternally save our family. I don't know, it's like 10th hand Jesus or whatever, but that's not how it works. The whole family's not saved because they donated to the Pope back in the day. And so it's like you have to do the work on your own. And it's really that simple. You just got to do the work. But as we do the work, we get rewards. We get rewards of a lighter heart and an easier way going through life. Are we going to be trouble-free? No, not at all. But it's okay because he shows us a way through all of these problems. So
Exactly.
get that personal relationship with him. And the best way to get that personal relationship with him, go to the scriptures every day.
Yep. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Would you read that, please?
All right. President Trump slams destructive windmills during meeting with Ursula von der Leyen.
Let's listen.
Ursula von der Leyen.
I will say this, they did ask me when I got off the plane, immigration, Europe has a tremendous problem, and we do too, but we've sealed our borders. We have nobody coming in, and we have hundreds of thousands of people being taken out, and the bad ones first. And I think we're doing a very good job of that. But it literally registered 0 people last month. You probably saw that, nobody. And Europe has a very similar problem. I think they're going to end up in the same place. You might as well go there quicker. And the other thing I say to Europe, we will not allow a windmill to be built in the United States. They're killing us. They're killing the beauty of our scenery, our valleys, our beautiful plains. And I'm not talking about airplanes. I'm talking about beautiful plains, beautiful areas in the United States. And you look up and you see windmills all over the place. It's a horrible thing. It's the most expensive form of energy. It's no good. They're made in China, almost all of them. When they start to rust and rot in 8 years, you can't really turn them off. You can't bury them. They won't let you bury the propellers, the props, because there's a certain type of fiber that doesn't go well with the land. That's what they say. The environmentalists say you can't bury them because the fiber doesn't go well with the land. In other words, if you bury it, it will harm our soil. The whole thing is a con job. It's very expensive. And in all fairness, Germany tried it, and wind doesn't work. You need subsidy for wind, and energy should not need subsidy. With energy, you make money. You don't lose money. But more important than that is it ruins the landscape. It kills the birds. They're noisy. You have a certain place in the Massachusetts area that over the last 20 years had 1 or 2 whales wash ashore. And over the last short period of time, they had 18. Okay? Because it's driving them loco. It's driving them crazy. Now, windmills will not come. It's not going to happen in the United States. And it's very expensive. And I would love to see. I mean, today I'm playing the best course, I think, in the world, Turnberry. Even though I own it, it's probably the best course in the world, right? And I look over the horizon and I see 9 windmills. It's like great. At the end of the 18, I said, isn't that a shame? What a shame. You have the same thing all over Europe in particular. You have windmills all over the place. Some of the countries prohibit it, but people ought to know that these windmills are very destructive. They're environmentally unsound, just the exact opposite. Because the environmentalists, they're not really environmentalists. They're political hacks. These are people that they almost want to harm the country. But you look at these beautiful landscapes all over the world. Many countries have gotten smart. They will not allow it. They will not. It's the worst form of energy, the most expensive form of energy. But windmills should not be allowed. Okay.
Thoughts?
The windmills are worthless. It became.
When we were in Amarillo.
Yeah, when we were in Amarillo and it got down to -19 and they froze and the whole city lost power. And I know a lot more places lost power because of that. They're unreliable. They're detrimental to the environment themselves. They take there's a 55-gallon drum of oil at the top of those things, from what I understand. On top of that needs to be changed out. So it's not like they're oil free. There's a lot of problems with them. When they break down all the time, they fall over. And like President Trump was saying, it is a biohazard to the soil that, you can't bury the crap. They are absolutely destructive. And don't forget, I'm curious, I haven't looked it up in a while. What's the number of bald eagles that have been lost to those stupid windmills? See, we need to be a lot more careful with it. If they want to do windmill power, then they need to do something, a little bit more friendly to the environment. The Dutch used windmills all over the place. They didn't have to be what they are now. I know that those won't create anywhere near as much electricity, but maybe we have too much of a demand for electricity with all of this crap everywhere, that everything's electronic. We need to take a step back. We need to reduce these kinds of issues is to recognize what electronics are actually important. How much electricity do we actually need? And then how much electricity do all these AI, Google and all those companies, how much electricity do they need? And they need to be paying the lion's share, and they need to be held to the standard that they want the rest of us to be held to, because they're the ones using, I'm sure, an overwhelming majority of the electricity. So you know what? As they point the finger at us, they got 3 fingers pointing back at themselves, and that needs to be addressed, because in the end, no one's above the law. And as a citizenry, no one person or organization is above any one person. We are all considered equal, and we are not getting treated equally in comparison to those who provide lots of tax money to the government.
Yeah.
But that's how we got to where we're at. And I know President Trump, he's got to play the game too. He's a businessman, and so he's certainly profited off of it. So will there be businesses? Will there be profit? Yes, of course. We need those. Otherwise, society will absolutely collapse. But what we need to do as citizens is start working with each other and stop relying on all of these big companies that are forcing this crap down our throats, even when we don't want it. And the way they can do that is through us continuing to patronize their businesses and buy their products. It's screwing us in the end. So we got to start being more sufficient as small communities. I think that's our best way to fight this.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Could be wrong.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Would you read that, please?
All right. President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, praises Trump's tough negotiation skills.
Let's listen.
You're known as a tough negotiator and deal maker. What is in front? and fair. And what is in front of
That's
us?
less important.
If we are successful, I think it would be the biggest deal each of us has ever struck. So I'm very much looking forward.
Ever struck by anybody? That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Right now, we have that honor goes to Japan. We just struck a deal with Japan, as you know. And we're very close to a deal with China. We really sort of made a deal with China, but we'll see how that goes. And we have numerous other deals. And mostly I'm just going to charge tariffs. And, it's not a deal per se, but people are going to pay tariffs. And we're doing them at the low end, not the high end, because we don't want to hurt anybody. And pretty well, but you and I both figured this is really the biggest trading partnership in the world. So we should give it a shot, right?
Yeah. Very much looking forward to that.
Oh, thank you very much. I do too.
Thoughts?
All right. So deals are cut. And obviously, we're going to hear about this with President Trump because he loves making deals. It's like a sport for him. And I'm just kind of noticing the difference because a lot of the politicians that we've had that have been talking to a lot of these powers around the world before, a lot of it has seemed like theater and a show. They were big, big ado about nothing, always telling us how great everything was. And this seems a lot more reserved, something that I kind of recall about international negotiations before, because international negotiations between foreign powers is a very serious deal. And it's not something that should be some kind of television entertainment. So it seems like a lot of the entertainment has been taken out of this during the Trump presidencies. And I look forward to people taking this a lot more seriously. We human beings have gotten very used to our creature comforts. We've gotten used to our entertainments, and these entertainments and creature comforts are exactly what's been pushing us in the wrong direction. We need to take a step back, be a lot more serious, recognize TV doesn't teach us anything of value other than how to do everything the wrong way, and do things that have a longer term perspective in mind as we go forward and do these things. In other words, the windmills. I'm going to use those as an example right now. Those windmills, we should have figured out exactly what kind of benefits and drawbacks they would have with small experiments over a period of time. But there was always that push, and that push was driven by the trillions of dollars that run through the federal government. And that amount of money is exactly why, because it was always a boondoggle. It was a boondoggle for a few people to get rich. Meanwhile, we're all getting screwed, and we got to foot the bill for that. No, we need to move a little bit more cautiously, be a little bit more reserved, and use a lot more logic as opposed to emotion to make the decisions for the country as a whole.
Yeah.
But
we do.
We'll see. We'll see how it works. But she seemed to truly be appreciative of President Trump and his abilities.
Would you read that, please?
Yes. Trump secures massive EU trade deal. 15% tariff, 0 EU tariffs, military, energy, and investments.
Ready?
Hey, Silver.
Hey, Silver.
European Union is going to agree to purchase from the United States $750 billion worth of energy. $750 billion worth of energy. They are going to agree to invest into the United States $600 billion more than they're investing already. So they're investing a large amount of money. You know what that amount of money is. It's very substantial, but they're going to invest an additional $600 billion. They're agreeing to open up their countries to trade at 0 tariff. So that's a very big factor. Opening up their countries, all of the countries will be opened up to trade with the United States at 0 tariff. And they're agreeing to purchase a vast amount of military equipment. We don't know what that number is, but it's the good news is we make the best military equipment in the world. So we have to do that. I mean, until somebody tops us, which is not going to happen. We're way ahead. of every other country in terms of the quality of the military equipment. You saw that recently in Iran, and you see that, unfortunately, you see that often for all the wrong reasons, right? So those things are 750 billion, 600 billion, opening up the country. We are agreeing that the tariff straight across for automobiles and everything else will be a straight across tariff of 15%. So we have a tariff of 15%. We have the opening up of all of the European countries, which I think I could say were essentially closed. I mean, you weren't exactly taking our autos, you weren't exactly taking our agriculture, and then you would have smaller things, but for the most part, it was closed. And now it's open. It's open for our companies to go in and do a good job with it. I think you'll like them. I think you'll like it. And we will, very importantly, they'll be investing a lot of money, but the military is a big number, but that's one number we're not determining. It's going to be whatever it is, but they're going to be purchasing hundreds of billions of dollars worth of military equipment. They're very important. They're going to purchase $750 billion worth of energy. So that's going to be great. And $600 billion worth of investments into the United States over and above what they have. So, and I think that basically concludes the deal. I mean, those are the main factors. I don't think there are too many other factors, other than we're going to get along great. And we have a great relationship now with NATO, which is largely the same. I mean, not exactly, but pretty close, right? Largely. And with NATO, as you know, they're going up to 5% from 2%. And the relationship is very strong with NATO. So I just want to congratulate you. I think it's great that we made a deal today instead of playing games and maybe not making a deal at all. I think it's, I'm going to let you say, but I think it's the biggest deal ever made. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. We have a deal. We have a trade.
I would like to have heard what she said. All right.
Thoughts?
So, all right. Sounds like, okay, one, okay. The handshake was that he gave her was a submissive one, but that doesn't mean that he's submitting to the EU. It sounds like the EU is doing a lot of things. The amount of money that's being spent on energy, that should cut Russia out of the deals that they had and allows the United States to step in and provide those energy needs for Europe. Therefore, tying Europe to the United States a little bit more, let's just hope and pray that it doesn't drag us in to the same old European conflicts that always happen. The exact reason why our founding fathers wanted to get away from their clownery over there in Europe, because they love their wars and having their people go to die because they have family feuds with their royals and all that other crap, as if the royals aren't still around in every one of the European nations. Anyway, so also the investment in the United States, you know, at least money's going to be coming to the U.S. I'm not too keen on all of this foreign investment into our nation, but I understand that economically it's good. Economically, or with that economic tethering to Europe, it's supposedly supposed to create peace in terms of, hey, you have your stuff over here. You know, you don't want to ruin, you know, what you do have here by, you know, getting froggy with us, right? So I understand the principles behind it. I just don't know if it's going to work out best for the people of America. But then again, I don't know all of these kinds of international, global economic kinds of things. So we just play along. It's better than China having all the investments, especially considering China wants to take us out. I don't think Europe does, because they got plenty of their own problems. And if nothing else, it's the United States has probably kept a fair amount of peace over in Europe, so long as we don't have clowns in office who are trying to start wars with Russia and Ukraine and a whole bunch of crap that we don't need to be involved in.
Yes. You ready?
So, yeah.
Let's listen.
Some of y'all so busy trying to be liked and don't realize the reason you ain't liked is because God got them disliking you on purpose because he can't have them close to you when you get your mantle. The devil been trying to keep certain relationships dysfunctional and disconnected. There are certain people in your life who are called and assigned to you, but the devil has always strategically put wedges and walls between y'all, but I break down the wall right now. I call for spiritual restoration of every healthy relationship you need to become what God has called you to be. You ought to jump up and shout, I receive that.
Thoughts?
I know that we've all had those experiences where there's relationships that haven't been connecting the way they should. It's part of life. And I think it's for our growth, it's for their growth. You know, God sends his adversary to get rid of those impurities that we have within us. And it's up to us to choose which side we pick. Right? Do we pick the side of God? Do we pick the side of the earthly things that we care and concern ourselves with? And it's part of our growth. And once we grow, then these things can change. They can't be allowed to change as long as we're still in a broken state. In the end, it's all for our purification, to wash our robes so that way they're pure white. We got to clean ourselves up. And these problems in life, even if it's people that we should be connecting with, it's so that way we can figure out what's wrong with us. They can figure out what's wrong with them, so that way we can open our hearts. If we open our hearts, then these problems won't be presenting themselves as much as they do. And in the end, it's so that way we can find that true love, and love in all of its forms, because we should be loving everybody here, no matter what's going on in our lives, in their lives. In the end, love is going to fix the problems. I know that I could have used a lot more love years and years ago to help me become a better person. But I had to go through the trials I did, because it was apparently the only way I was going to learn. And so it's up to us. We can't rely on other people for their growth. We have to rely on ourselves for our own personal growth, so that way those relationships can flourish and grow again.
Yeah. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Would you read that, please?
Jeez. All right, let's see. What do we got here? Tampa hits 100 degrees for the first time in recorded history.
Let's listen.
We should. All right, here we go.
Good evening. I'm Ty Russell. Thank you so much for joining us. It is another dangerously hot day out there, and today was one for the history books. Meteorologist Rebecca Berry joins us now. And Rebecca, we broke a major milestone today for the first time ever.
That's right. You can say you were here when Tampa Bay was the hottest it's ever been, at least at the airport location. And so at the Tampa airport, our weather sensor there hit 100 degrees for the first time. So we have set an all-time record high, the hottest we've ever seen at that location. And it was today right after 3:30. Now, it did hover around 99 for a lot of the afternoon. But when we finally hit that 100-degree mark, it was the first time that we've seen that occur. So our record for today was 97. Obviously, we broke that. So we have a new high temperature record for today of 100 degrees. We also have that all-time high temperature record. When we were sitting at 99, I was writing a web article about how this was only the third time we'd hit 99 degrees. And so that was once in 2020 and once in.
Thoughts?
All right.
With this weird weather going on.
Well, the weird weather, but it's also our fault. It's our fault. And let me share this because in the end, this is really what a lot of this increased temperature is in so many places. And that has everything to do with the amount of construction, the amount of houses, the amount of human activity. All of this is just city, and it's concrete, and it's hot. You know what Florida used to look like? This. All of this green stuff. That is the real reason why these temperatures are rising, because we're not living in harmony with the earth that we live on. These houses, every roof tile, every metal roof, the concrete, the asphalt, they take away what the earth does naturally. And so, yeah, the temperatures are going to get hotter, but we are also experiencing hotter temperatures. They say that it's the hottest ever recorded, but the way we record is very different than the way it used to be, because they're recording at the airport, which is a giant concrete jungle in and of itself, as opposed to when temperatures were taken in fields, and they were taken at various different places with different kinds of thermometers, not necessarily digital. The old cow blood thermometers always worked, but apparently this makes it a lot easier, so that way somebody doesn't have to go out and actually look at a thermometer to find out what the temperature is. So what does it mean? I don't know. All I know is that the sun has its cycles, where there are hot cycles, there are cold cycles. There was an entire year where there was no summer back in the Middle Ages. So it would require a lot of understanding of a lot of things that are going on. And we've lost a lot of those skills. A lot of people used to really rely on the Farmer's Almanac to find out what was going on, because the Farmer's Almanac took all of these kinds of patterns, but also in addition to the patterns of the planets as they traveled through the sky. There's a lot of different things. Obama got rid of that, by the way, in terms of that kind of weather keeping, even though it was proven to be extremely accurate for all those years. Anyways, that is what it is. Carol says we need more underground cities. I think we have a lot of those. I just away from me. We just don't know where they are.
You ready?
Yeah,
Would you read that, please?
certainly. Oh, geez. Yeah, here we go. This has been a big deal. The real reason Las Vegas is losing visitors. Oh, am I supposed to read?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why don't we just read the highlights here? Yeah. Okay, drop in international visitors and hotel occupancy according to Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority. All right, hold on a second here. I still got to figure out how to use this thing. All right. Hotel occupancy dropped to just 66.7% in early July, a sharp fall from the previous year, and international visitor numbers plunged by more than 13% in June alone. Okay, so soaring prices and hidden resort fees. If you've been to Vegas, that's exactly what's been going on for so many years. Economic anxiety and geopolitical factors. Surprise, people don't have money to gamble when they don't have money. I don't know, call me crazy. Let's see how pricing is pushing visitors away. Why is travel to Las Vegas dropping? Okay, economic headwinds and policy hurdles. I can read the headlines there. And then that looks like that's pretty much it. So Vegas is a great town. Vegas, it's certainly, it is tied to the tourism market. The tourism market is tied to how much money people have. As more and more people are just in sustenance poverty, their poverty is based on just trying to put food on the table. It makes it a lot more difficult for people to want to go squander and gamble their money away, especially as the casinos have risen their prices on everything. There is no more $5, buffet. There is no more.
There's no more buffets.
No, yeah, that's right. They got rid of the buffet. There's like a buffet or two left. Like that's one of the things that used to make Vegas Vegas was the buffets. Silver says my parents were married in Vegas. Nice. And people would love to do that, but then again, it's a trip.
Yeah.
They don't have the dollar blackjack tables anymore. No. And with the economy, under our Biden economy, because Trump hasn't been able to overcome all of the trash that's been put on his plate before Biden left, and well, not really Biden, it was all of his little cronies and clowns that were making this stuff happen. It's going to hurt cities like Las Vegas. And Las Vegas needs to go back to some of its roots. It is a place in the desert. And people generally don't like to go hang out in deserts because they don't like hot weather. Of course, then again, if you're in the Southeast, I guess you're really feeling the hot weather right now, but at least it's a dry heat out here. But regardless, paying for parking, paying a resort fee, paying all of these things, of course people aren't going to spend money on that.
$40 bagel.
Yeah, a $40 bagel. Like that's a thing. And it shouldn't be. And the corporations have allowed their greed to overcome their business acumen. But they'll figure it out one way or the other.
Yep. You ready?
Yeah.
How about some Craig?
Let's just hope there's no financial lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could use some Craig.
Let's listen.
All right.
Whatever you're going through today, Jesus says, trust me. Don't worry. Don't freak out. Don't worry about what's going to happen to your body. Worry about your soul. What do? It's a very complicated world with real burdens, real weight, real significant fears, real pain, real trauma. You seek him first. You seek him first. You call on Jesus. You press into Jesus. You love him. You cry out to him. You hurt with him. You might yell at him at times, and you go back to his word, and you let his spirit work in you. You let his spirit heal you. You let his spirit minister to you, and you put him first. You seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and then everything else will be added unto you.
Thoughts?
It's a difficult task sometimes to try to just put him first and recognize he's got the lead, he's got the plan, and we just have to go along with it. That's why we need to run to him first. We need to run to God first. It's the best way that we can ensure that things will go more smoothly and better than they would have otherwise. He will ensure that we have everything we need. Not everything we want, but he'll make sure that we have everything we need. And in this world where everything is, flash and dash and cash and everything's a big deal because of all of the stuff, lose those things. Seek first the kingdom of God, and the kingdom of God isn't going to give you a Lamborghini. I mean, it might. I could be wrong, but that depends on what you got going on with your relationship with him. And so, is that really going to make anybody's life better? No. Is the multi-million-dollar house, the $150 million house, is that going to make your life better? No, I mean, it's a lot easier to cry yourself to sleep in a house like that. But at the same time, it's not what's going to give you the joy. It's not what's going to give you the happiness. It's not going to give you fulfillment. And in the end, our relationship with God, our creator, is what's going to give us that fulfillment. And it helps us recognize the things that are truly important, like family, those that we love, and those that love us. So seek those first. And then all of that other stuff, whether you get it or not, isn't as important because you're already filled. Your cup is already filled. And that is what matters.
Yep. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Would you read that, please?
Middle Eastern man restrained on Scotland flight after bomb threats calls for Trump's death.
Let's listen.
Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Oh my God. Stop. Sit down. Don't move.
Thoughts?
What took them so long?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. That one's interesting, but at least somebody stood up. But thank God the camera was out first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the most important thing.
Yeah. People should react before the cameras come out in an instant like that. You're on a plane. You have nowhere to go. And if he's doing dumb shit, or if somebody's doing dumb shit like that, then you know what? It's time to restrain somebody. You don't have to curb stomp them or anything like that, but you definitely need to make sure that that individual is not a threat to your own and everybody else's life on the plane. And if nothing else, what we learned from what they told us happened in 9/11 is that you're gonna, if the plane is going to go down one way or the other, you may as well stand up for yourself as opposed to just sitting there on the plane and accepting what happens. But thank God there were some passengers that decided to jump up and do something. But 99.99% of the time, all it takes is that one person to stand up, and noticed almost instantly somebody else jumped up to assist. Know that you're never alone, especially when you know you're doing the right thing for the life and safety of everybody else around you. And if you're fighting for the life and safety of everybody else around you and nobody else jumps up, well, then I'm sure that you'll be given all of the everything you need to deal with that situation at that point in time. But in the end, I know that nobody wants to sit around while they wait for some strange thing to happen. So,
Ready?
mm-hmm.
Would you read this, please?
Multiple dead as passenger train derails in Germany. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
They have a lot more
Starting that
passenger
again.
trains out. I hope not. I hope this is just a one-off.
Oh, me too.
Okay, am I reading this?
Yeah, right here.
Okay, well, I'm still going to need to blow this thing up even with the monocle. All right. Let's see. Roughly 100 people were on aboard the train when at least 2 carriages derailed in a forested area around 6:10 p.m. Local time, DPA reported. I guess that's the Deutschland probably Rail Authority or something like that. I don't know. Photos from the scene showed parts of the train on its side as rescuers climbed atop the carriages. The crash happened near the town of Riedlingen. DPA reported roughly 158 kilometers, or in American 98 miles, west of Munich. Details about what caused the derailment were not immediately available. Federal police, who oversee the railroads, and Deutsche Bahn, Germany's main national railway operator, did not return the AP's request for comments Sunday evening. And that's a Breitbart report there. So, trains, they're interesting. I don't think that our train systems are where they should be anymore. They were talking about the maglev trains, the magnetic levitating trains, long ago. Japan's been running them for a long time. Even parts of Germany has been running them. In which case, the derailments aren't anywhere near as bad. Also, they don't have because they're usually lifted up above the ground, they don't have as many incidents with running into critters or cars or any of that other stuff. Our rail system is going to need an overhaul, but I'm sure that those who own a lot of the rail systems just don't feel like making that investment, despite the billions of dollars that they get from the people and the billions of dollars that those companies make anyways. Yeah, it's time for some true fixes to the rail systems around the world.
Yeah. You
Be
ready?
my guess. Yeah, since they love spending money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's listen.
All right.
People see you how they need you. That's why some people hate you and don't even know you. They need you to be an enemy. Because if they make you an enemy, they don't have to take responsibility. And be honest with you, that's why some people think too highly of you. Because they need you to be a savior. And the truth is, you're neither.
Thoughts?
We can only be our own savior. And psychologically speaking, when somebody irritates us or just their mere presence makes us angry, it's a projection. It's a mirror of something that we don't like within ourselves. We need to work on ourselves, and we need to not make anybody a savior. We love President Trump. We think that he's doing the best that he can. He's not Jesus. He's not the Messiah. He may be anointed, but so was Saul. Right? We're humans. We make mistakes, and I'm not saying Trump is Saul, King Saul by any means. But what I'm saying is we can't put our trust and faith in man. That's the mistake. We need to put our faith in God, and that will keep us from being disappointed as we move forward in life.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, would you read this one?
All right. All right, here we go. Oh, hold on. There we go. Russ Vaught says economic plan will lead to a third of what's necessary to balance the budget.
Let's listen.
CBO was using artificial baselines that treat spending as eternal and tax relief that was in law since 2017 to be temporary. And so if you adjust for that, and the bill does have additional tax relief, of which we paid for with spending reductions, this bill reduces deficits and will help us with the national debt. Overall, the moves that we are making as an economic team under President Trump's leadership will lead to about a third of what's necessary to balance the budget, given the numbers that you just articulated. That's just in our 6 months. When you talk about the tariff revenues that are coming in, $3 trillion, CBO believes the same numbers that we have. And again, those are in advance of a number of the trade agreements that we're talking about over the next several weeks. So we're making big moves, and I think the country is going to come alongside of us and see the progress that we're making.
Thoughts?
There's a lot of progress that needs to be made, and Doge isn't going to get everything done that needs to be done because there's so many other things that are causing problems. I even saw a report today where the Democrats are getting upset that Trump is trying to take away the illegal alien SNAP benefits. These are the things that are screwing us. And then, of course, all the boondoggles. Notice that a lot of the problems have slowed down ever since USAID lost their funding. They don't have as much money to throw out there and create all the problems like they used to. So it's going to take a lot more than 6 months to figure out how to fix the budget. It's going to take a long time, and it's going to take a change in the expenditures and in the revenue. And both of those have to come together because we got to pay down our deficit. And no, we might not like the bankers. And yes, they may have done a shady deal, but they were promises. And so we are on the hook to an extent. Despite their deception, despite the frauds that were committed against the people to create the Federal Reserve, we still got to pay our bills. And you know, as the dollar gets more and more worthless, it makes it a lot easier to go ahead and pay off those worthless debts with worthless dollars. Then once the debt's taken care of, then we can go ahead and go back to a real dollar that's backed by commodities. So step-by-step process. How's it going to play out? I have no idea. But I have a feeling that we're going to be doing pretty good by the time everything's said and done.
I agree.
Then it will be up to us to try to keep the republic if we can. Again. Again.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Would you read that, please?
Yes. RFK Jr. gives reasons why he rejected the World Health Organization's power grab.
Let's listen.
Hello, everyone. This is your HHS Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I want to speak to you today about a controversial issue that could directly impact you and your family during a global health emergency. Last year, the World Health Organization's governing body made some far-reaching amendments to its international health regulations, otherwise known as the IHR regulations. These regulations establish the legal framework that gives countries rights and responsibilities for managing public health events with global impact. The deadline to reject these amendments is next week, and we are rejecting them. So I'd like to explain to you why. The first reason is national sovereignty. Nations who accept the new regulations are signing over their power in health emergencies to an unelected international organization that could order lockdowns, travel restrictions, or any other measures it sees fit. In fact, it doesn't even need to declare an emergency. Potential public health risks are enough for it to initiate action. If we're going to give the WHO that much power, we should at least invite a thorough public debate, especially since the agreement is an official treaty and it bypasses the US Senate, which plays a key role in ensuring major international commitments receive proper democratic oversight. To make matters worse, the new regulations employ extremely broad language that gives the WHO unprecedented power. They require countries to establish systems of risk communication so that the WHO can implement unified public messaging globally. That opens the door to the kind of narrative management and propaganda and censorship that we saw during the COVID pandemic. We don't want to see that kind of system institutionalized even further. The agreement also contains provisions about global systems of health IDs, vaccine passports, and a centralized medical database. It lays the groundwork for global medical surveillance of every human being. Maybe if the WHO were an infallible authority, untainted by industry influence, we would consider accepting the new regulations.
No.
Unfortunately, the COVID pandemic demonstrated otherwise. During COVID, the WHO failed to enforce the international health regulations that were already in place for generations. China withheld critical information about the outbreak for at least a month and faced no real consequences or criticism from WHO. As the 2024 Congressional Oversight Report put it, the WHO was misinformed, denied access to China, and used as a cover for the Chinese Communist Party's reckless action. These and other atrocities make one thing clear: we must strengthen national and local autonomy to hold global organizations in check and to restore a real balance of power. Underneath all the bureaucratic language, what's at stake here is a vision for our future. Are we going to be subjects to a technocratic control system that uses health risks and pandemic preparedness as a Trojan horse to curtail basic democratic freedoms? Do we want a future where every person, every movement, every transaction, and every human body is under surveillance at all times? Now, I don't want to be too alarmist. The new regulations aren't in themselves medical totalitarianism. In fact, they were perhaps written with good intentions, but they are definitely a step in the wrong direction. That's why we're rejecting the amendments, not only on behalf of our own citizens, but the whole world. After all, America could simply ignore the WHO, but few other countries are as powerful as the United States. Even though many of these amendments are phrased to be non-binding, as a practical matter, it's hard for many countries to resist them, especially when they are dependent on the WHO funding and its partnerships. That's why we're taking leadership to stop an agreement that's bad for the entire world. I want to be clear that in rejecting these amendments, President Trump and I are not rejecting international cooperation. We can cooperate with other nations without jeopardizing our civil liberties, without undermining our Constitution, and without ceding away America's treasured sovereignty. That's my commitment to you. That's President Trump's commitment to you. Thank you, and God bless you all, and God bless our country.
Thoughts?
I'm going with the fact that he was being political about this, because really the way I feel about the World Health Organization is it's an international terrorist organization trying to force people into medical experimentation that they never wanted or desired to be a part of, and they never let the people know exactly all the problems that were going on. And you mean to tell me that the World Health Organization is so incompetent that they didn't recognize that it was a manufactured bioweapon? Come on, let's be real about this. Either they're incompetent or they're complicit. Either way, we want nothing to do with that. I don't want incompetent international organizations or corrupt international organizations to override our own incompetent and or corrupt national organizations or state organizations or whatever the case is. We have enough government as it is. You know, nobody says, "Oh, govern me harder, daddy." Nobody wants that crap. What do we want? We want to be left alone, and we want you to stop doing bioweapons that you release upon us, so that way your pharmaceutical bros can go out there and make more money at the expense of everybody else. So that way everybody's in a permanent having to take a, blue pill every day. Nobody wants that crap. So what's the real deal? I'm grateful that he said it in a politically correct manner, because he is talking to all of the Americans, and not every American understands how bad the World Health Organization is. And about, a lot of this stuff was in conspiracy realm just, a couple of years ago. Finally, people are starting to wake up to the fact that, oh my God, there really was a conspiracy and it wasn't a theory. Yeah. Okay. But in the meantime, in order to continue to wake people up, I guess we have to use the political speak. But you know what? It's one more thing that shows that this administration is doing the right thing. It may not be as aggressive as we would like it to be, but in the end, it's about trying to get as many people to come back to the light of what this nation is supposed to be, and that is individual freedom and liberty that doesn't submit or bend a knee to international, bullshittery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Silver says, who elected the World Health Organization? Back off, tyrants. And they should be treated that way, to tell you the truth. But yeah, that's not going to happen.
You ready?
And then, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Homeboy in charge of the WHO? Wasn't he on the island too? Yeah, that's what I thought. At least allegedly.
Allegedly.
Maybe time will tell.
Yeah. Let's listen.
Mhm.
Or actually, would you read this, please?
Certainly. I've been waiting to see this one all day. Someone in an Elmo costume trolled Antifa at the ICE facility in Portland.
Let's watch.
I think we should.
Let them got Elmo, the racist over there. He's all stage bullshit.
What are you doing, Meadow? Stop! You are really weird. You have been for years and years and years.
I have no idea what the value add to that was, other than pissing off some Antifa types. But why aggravate them? They're already angry enough as it is. But it shows you that they're losing a lot of their zeal to continue and perpetuate the violence that they have, that somebody can actually go out there and troll them in one of the locations where they're most active and are trying to deny the will of the people.
Yeah, I know.
I know. An Elmo costume. But hey, you know what? I guess it's all in good fun in the end.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's listen.
All right.
When you forgive someone, you are not saying, I condone what you did to me. What you're saying is, I release myself from the pain that you put me in. Doesn't mean they have to be a part of your life ever again, but it means you have to forgive them. You're releasing yourself from a prison of pain. You're releasing yourself from a prison of bitterness. Those past wounds will afflict you in ways that will debilitate you, not only physically, but spiritually. Don't get stuck in the past. Don't stay in yesterday's pain. When you surrender, what you're saying is, God, I want what's new in my life. I don't want to hold on to the old stuff. He's doing a new thing. You know what that means? He's not done with you. He's not done. And there's something that he's already starting to do. You just don't see it yet. See, God is saying, even in the hardest places that you're at or whatever you're going through, God will make a way for you. He promises. We need to say, God, I'm going to put a period at the end of this chapter of my life. I don't want to live in the past anymore. I don't want the past to live in me.
Thoughts?
Whew. So, personal story time here. Well, not story, but personal correlation. Kay and I have been going through a lot of stuff, through the past, and how the past has piled on and on and on throughout our lives, and we've had difficulties trying to navigate our way through that, and it's not helpful. The past comes up because there's issues that we had not addressed beforehand, and so it seems like we're digging up the past, but really the past is just showing a shadow of itself today, so that way we can deal with the things that we hadn't dealt with before. But we need to not bring those past things back up. We need to address what's presently happening that we would like to deal with, and that philosophy can be applied in everything else that's going on. There are things that are going on in the world that have shown a consistent pattern, but we don't need to worry about the pattern so much as address the issue as it is. Because when we bring up the past, and I know I'm guilty about this, when we bring up the past, what we end up doing is we give an opportunity to fight about everything else. We don't need to fight. We're not looking to fight. We're not looking to have arguments. What are we actually looking to do? We're actually looking to fix the problem that we hadn't addressed before. So always try to leave the past in the past where it belongs, because again, today has enough troubles of its own without bringing up the stuff in the past to kind of flip what the Bible's saying, but I think it still applies. We don't need to worry about yesterday's problems. We need to worry about today's problems. So focus on today's problems. Steph says, learn from the past. Just don't stay there. Strive to move forward. And that's 100% correct. Is the pain points are there to let us know that we can't move forward until we address these issues. Once we address the issues, then it makes it a lot easier to move forward. So stay focused on what's truly important and don't allow our emotional being to get in the way of creating the healing that we need by worrying about how we're butthurt about something that we didn't deal with once upon a time. Silver says, let it go is one of my favorite phrases. Let it go is a great one, but at the same time, it can really feel like a kick in the teeth. Just let it go. Why do I have to let it go? And again, it's these exercises that we have to go through to make sure that we are actually letting it go and addressing the specific issue that's at the root of whatever's going on. Yeah, unresolved issues suck. I agree with you 100%, Hope. Yeah, I'm ready.
Would you read this, please?
Breaking. Declassified Susan Rice email confirms Michael Flynn was personally targeted in an Oval Office meeting. Oh, is it a reader?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, well, then I better be blowing this thing up. Hold on a second here. All right. Michael Flynn was personally targeted during a crucial January 5th, 2017 Oval Office meeting arranged by then President Barack Obama, a newly declassified document shows. On January 20th, 2017, as President Donald Trump was being inaugurated, former White House National Security Advisor Susan Rice sent herself a bizarre email detailing the January 5th meeting between her, Obama, then Vice President Joe Biden, then Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates, and fired former FBI Director James Comey in the email, portions of which were not declassified until recently. Rice recorded that Flynn, who at the time was the incoming national security advisor for Trump, was personally discussed and targeted during the meeting with Obama. Hold on. Let's go back up there because the important part is right there. And that is Susan Rice sent herself a bizarre email. And I think that that's the key. Why would Susan Rice do that? Why would anybody send themselves an email? Probably because it's one of those CYA kind of things. Sounds like she was covering her ass because she knew that things were going to go bad. What does that tell me about Susan Rice? Sounds like Susan Rice might be willing to provide some evidence. Or maybe she did in the beginning and we just haven't heard about it. Maybe Susan Rice ended up doing the right thing before President Trump came over, which ended up allowing so many of these things to happen. This is only one email. Do you think she only sent herself one bizarre, strange email? No. And what would Susan Rice be able to provide? What kind of evidence would she be able to provide? And what are the requirements to actually convict somebody of treason? 2 people. There's one. All they need is one more. Then you have the 2 people necessary to prosecute treason, which is not covered by presidential immunity, I might add.
Correct.
Steph says, yep, heard that yesterday or today. One, she is gone. Yeah. I send myself text messages so I don't forget things. Yeah. And doing it in the moment would more than likely point to the fact that she didn't want to forget any of the fine details because it sounds like she didn't want anything to do with any of it.
Right.
I wonder who the other one is. And I have a feeling if I was working with the press and in all of this brouhaha of everything that's going on, if I was President Trump and I wanted information to come out to let the other side know you're more screwed than you think you are, this would probably be a pretty good article that you might want to have one of your reporters that agree with your perspective. Hey, here's this. You might want to go ahead and let this information get out. And she won't be the last one. I know, because when you have a group of people who are doing a whole bunch of things that are wrong, somebody's going to want to cover their ass. I know I've sent emails to myself to cover my ass for things that just weren't looking good. Anyway, Silver says she knew it was illegal. I agree with you 100%. I think she knew it was illegal. And I think that she knew that the best thing she could do is to make sure that that information was well documented.
Right.
For any future need that may arise from that kind of information. She was CYA. Somebody could find that one day. Yeah. Well, she's still with us, isn't she? Susan Rice?
I don't know.
Let me look that up right quick. Susan Rice. Let's see. 60 years old. Yep. No date of death. She's still around. Huh. Would not have expected that from Susan Rice, but you know what? You never know who the good guys and who the bad guys are, huh?
You ready?
Yeah.
Would you read that, please?
All right. Here we go. What the fuck? Jim Cramer snaps live on TV as rate cut frustration boils over.
Okay.
All right. Let us listen.
Our biggest problem is we have so much growth that the Fed won't cut. What the fuck? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my
God. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I take it right back.
Everybody,
I take it right back.
It's
That was
okay.
bad.
It's okay. We're in the moment.
It's just the way I take it right back. That was bad.
It's cable with a ticker, as Joe Kernan would say.
I take that back.
That's right.
Real people doing live TV.
No.
Jim, though, to your point, Goldman today, the most notable change.
You're fine. You're absolutely
Goldman
fine.
today, the most
You
notable
want me to say one?
No, I just feel like enough with the rate cut.
Go ahead.
The economy's booming.
Let Carl talk now.
Goldman today, most notable change since the June Fed meeting.
Thought.
Sounds like he's getting a little upset about the fact that things aren't going the way he wanted them to go. But then again, he's had some real trash advice on his channel. Why that dude's still around, I have no idea. Apparently, he needs to get in better with BlackRock and Vanguard so that way he can give everybody else the good advice that they need. Or in the end, he is giving exactly what BlackRock and Vanguard, the East India Trading Company, or all of the East India Trading Companies that were out there from all of the European nations. They never went away. And he's just a mouthpiece for those people, would be my guess. Can't really tie him to that. But in the end, yeah, when people get upset because their ego isn't allowing them to be happy with the way things are going, they have a tendency to make mistakes like that. But that's okay, because his little world is crumbling all around him. And that's yet just another tiny, small indicator that things aren't really going the way that people on the I Hate America crowd side would like them to go.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Mm-hmm. You figured you'd been trained better at the farm in Virginia. I think it's in Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Would you read that, please?
Okay. How to memorize the 10 Commandments.
Let's listen.
All right.
Hey, ma'am, I see your shirt. If I can teach you how to memorize the 10 Commandments really fast, I will give you $50.
All right.
The first, see the finger right here. You shall have no other gods. There's one God. What's Commandment 1?
No other gods above me.
Right. Commandment 2 says, don't bow down to any other god. So what's 2?
Don't bow down to any other gods.
Commandment 3, this is not to take the name of the Lord in vain.
Mm-hmm.
So you take the Lord of the name with your mouth. So you're putting this over your mouth. Don't take the name of the Lord in vain. So what's 3?
Don't take the name of the Lord in vain.
Number 1.
No other gods above me.
Number 2.
Don't bow down to any other gods. Don't worship any other idols.
Number 3.
Don't take the Lord's name in vain.
That's right. Number 4. So this kind of looks like a hand, 4.
Uh-huh.
So 4 is protect the Sabbath.
Yep.
Right? So what's 4?
Protect the Sabbath.
5, we're going to make it a salute. Yes, sir. Honor your father and mother. So what's 5?
Honor your father and mother.
What's 4?
Protect the Sabbath.
The 6th commandment. Thou shalt not kill.
Thou shalt not kill.
The 7th is don't commit adultery.
Yep.
There are 2 people in a marriage, not 5. There are 2, not 5. So what's 7?
Don't commit adultery.
Let's review real quick. 1.
No other gods above me.
2.
Don't bow down to any false idols.
Number 3.
Don't take the Lord's name in vain.
Number 4.
Protect the Sabbath.
Number 5.
Honor your father and mother.
Number 6.
Don't kill.
Number 7.
And then don't commit adultery.
8, we're going to do it like this, right?
Yep.
Because in some countries, they cut off your fingers if you steal. So we got our thumbs cut off.
All right.
So don't steal. What are we doing here?
We're not stealing.
So what's commandment 8?
Do not steal.
Number 9, 4 is not 5. 4 is not 5. Don't lie. 4 is not 5. What's 9?
Don't lie.
Don't lie. And number 10, we got our fingers here. We're wanting what other people have.
Yep.
This is don't covet.
Got it.
All right. So we're going to go through all 10 and then you get $50.
Okay.
Okay. Number 1.
No other gods above me.
2.
Don't bow down to false idols.
Number 3.
Don't take the Lord's name in vain.
4.
Honor the Sabbath.
5.
Honor your father and mother.
6.
Don't kill.
That's it.
7 is do not commit adultery. 8 is do not steal. 9 is don't lie. And 10 is do not covet.
Booyah, baby. All right.
Look at that.
You get $50. What's your name?
Noah.
Noah. Oh,
Thank
what
you,
a
sir.
great Bible name.
Yeah.
So now you know, Brain Athlete on Instagram and YouTube, and you'll see
Okay.
this video in a few weeks.
I like that. That's
Okay,
cool.
man. All right. Great to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet
Thank
you too, man.
Thank
Thoughts?
That was an interesting way. Anything that you can utilize to help you memorize things is always a good thing. Fascinating.
It is.
That's pretty neat. Brain Athlete, huh?
Uh-huh.
All right. If y'all want to, check him out.
Yeah.
All right.
You ready?
Later, not now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ready?
Thanks. Yeah.
Would you read that, please?
With Christian songs charting on Billboard, Charlie Kirk wonders if Christianity is cool again.
Let's listen.
All right.
And this is something that is happening across media profiles. Is Christianity cool again? For the first time, multiple Christian musicians are charting on the Billboard Hot 100 at the same time and staying there for weeks. Allie, we know that Gen Z is becoming more Christian. In fact, the most Christian generation in quite some time. You can see here, Ordinary by Alex Warren atop the Billboard Hot 100. What is causing this? A 60% global increase in Christian music streams over the last 5 years. Allie.
I think it's the increase in an interest in meaning and fulfillment, and specifically Christianity, in the satisfaction that Jesus Christ brings, but also Christian artists are making really good music. I went to a Forrest Frank concert with my husband and our oldest daughter, who is 6. And let me tell you, it's not only that the Holy Spirit was present there, it was a beautiful night of worship, but it was also genuinely a good experience. And so I'm just so thankful to see this collision of awesome talent and a desire to glorify God.
Honestly, praise God that people are starting to listen to things that aren't degenerate and awful and ugly and shallow.
Thoughts?
It was bound to happen. The pendulum always swings back and forth. It's what's going to happen. It's about how it happens that is what makes the difference. How far is it going to swing back now? That's a good question. But the good thing is that as we move forward in life, as the pendulum swings back, we're going to reconnect with God, which means that as more and more people reconnect with God, and I praise be to God that people are actually finding him again, because they've gotten tired of all of this crap, music that's out there, like wet ass pussy. And I know I didn't name the song, but they play it on the radio. We're all sick and tired of it because this degenerate lifestyle has been forced fed through to each and every one of us, no matter how much we've tried to avoid it. People have lost their way because it was so normalized. It was normalized when we were growing up. It's what it is. And so I'm glad to see, because I do recall the older generations being a lot more focused on God. And there was a general happiness, or at least an inner peace, that we haven't seen in oh so long. And, it was when Detroit won the World Series and everybody was in shock that there were riots. It didn't make sense because it was so counter to everything that was normal for your each and everyday American. And now riots are, oh, our team won, let's burn the city down. I have no idea why that ever became a thing, but I'm glad to see that it's changing. People are rejecting that degenerate lifestyle. People are rejecting that, I'm stronger, better, faster than you kind of crap. People are starting to recognize that there's no fulfillment in that it's hollow. It's a hollow life, and that it doesn't provide any value added. So these are things that we should rejoice with, and these are things that we should be grateful for and give thanks to God for those kinds of things as people, Americans, especially because we live here, but around the world, even better, are turning to God. Now, if we could just get the heathens in Europe to finally see God again, that would be great, because they certainly did lead the push towards God. They gave us people like Martin Luther and Calvin, et cetera, et cetera. These are the kinds of people that we need again, and we should pray to God for these kinds of leaders, biblical leaders, leaders that He has anointed to lead us back in that direction. And I have a feeling that that's where we're headed. We just have to wait and see how it plays out.
Amen. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Would you read that, please?
All right. Ex-Muslim who converted to Christianity says we must stop the influx of the cult in the West.
Let's listen.
All right.
The first time that I sat down and started and tried out a Christian prayer, I felt like it was very genuine. I felt like I'm speaking to God. I am expressing something that I truly feel. We are allowing Islamists to spread their poison while fighting among each other about nonsensical things. I mainly had my problems with Islam because I saw it as a global threat. It is good to be forgiving, but you have to recognize that the wolf is out there to still eat you. Unfortunately, Islam is a perfect culture that will happily take advantage of this.
Wow. Hello, everyone. This is a huge crowd for me. How's everybody doing? I personally have no idea why Charlie put me on here, because I don't speak English very well. I'm an immigrant. I've just learned to speak English. And the biggest crowd that I spoke to was like 200 people, and now we have thousands of people here. I normally do this on YouTube, so I don't have people looking at me and giving me all the reactions when I say dumb things. So this is definitely very, very exciting. See how I tied that in? I tied it into my YouTube channel. This is how you do it. You can find me on YouTube as Apostate Prophet if you look it up. Who's actually here for me? Who even knows about me? Three people, 4 people, yeah. So we want to change that today. You can just go and look me up on YouTube, Apostate Prophet. In fact, I'm going to wait. Everyone subscribe right now, please. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So I want to really thank Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA for doing this and for giving me the opportunity, because we have a very important job to do. We have a lot of very important things to do. If you do indeed find me on YouTube, you will see what you will encounter is that I represent myself and my channel with a little cartoon that looks like a certain figure, a religious figure by the name of Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad. I specifically chose to put that as image out there because drawing Muhammad, making a cartoon of Muhammad, is a very dangerous thing. You shouldn't try that at home, because if you do it and you publicize it or people know about it, your life will be in danger. Many of you might know about it, but a little over a decade ago, or I think about a decade ago, in France, a magazine, Charlie Hebdo, put out a cartoon of Muhammad for which the entire place was attacked by Islamic terrorists who opened fire and killed several of those journalists and cartoonists. This was, of course, horrific. Lots of people around the world, in Europe, in the West, and also some in the Muslim world condemned it. But the general idea in the Muslim world was that those cartoonists, when they were killed, basically deserved it because they asked for it. This is the culture that we are dealing with, that I am dealing with on a daily basis. We don't have the freedom in an Islamic environment to mock or to critically speak of the Islamic beliefs and of the Prophet, the so-called Prophet Muhammad, despite the fact that this so-called Prophet Muhammad was a warlord and a pedophile, but he is also considered the perfect moral conduct for Muslims all around the world. I would know this. I didn't have the privilege, unlike most of you wonderful people here, to be raised in a Christian environment with Christian values and Christian rules, or to be raised within a country, a beautiful country like America, where you have the freedom, where we have the freedom to say whatever we want without fearing repercussions. The same thing cannot be said about different places in the world. I was raised in an Islamic environment. I was raised in a religious Muslim family, and I am what you would call an ex-Muslim. I was raised with the idea that I should be loyal only to Islam as a religion. I was raised with animosity, with hostility toward the West. I was raised as an enemy of the United States of America. Today, I am standing here with a huge American flag right in front of me, and I proudly and happily call myself an American. America has given me the ability, the freedom to be free and to say whatever I want, to do whatever I want, to be free, to speak freely. I appreciate this to no end. I have also, after I left Islam, after I turned my back on it, I spent about 10 years as an atheist, as a very hardcore skeptic. I have recently become a Christian, so I am... So I can finally share the beauty of Christian values and Christian beliefs, which I didn't know, which were taught to me in a very limited way, but which were also demonized by my own culture and by my own religion. Charlie Kirk recently said something for which he got in huge trouble. He said, Islam is incompatible with the West. He also said Islam does not belong in the West. It has no place in the West. But unfortunately, it is rapidly growing in the West and having a lot of influence. I can tell you, as an ex-Muslim, as somebody who has left Islam, who has it behind himself, and who is now in your culture, in this free culture, I can tell you that the Quran, the Islamic fundamental text, equivalent to the Bible in Christianity, has certain ideas and doctrines such as it tells Muslims directly, do not befriend the Jews and the Christians. Whoever befriends them is one of them, because they, the Jews and the Christians, are allies of one another, and they are basically, hostile enemies of Allah and Islam. It further says in chapter 98, verse 6, it says that the Jews and Christians and all the other disbelievers are the worst creatures. I'm not joking. It's right there in the Quran. This is what it says, that Christians and Jews and disbelievers are the worst of creatures. It further also, Muhammad himself, the prophet, very clearly says that people like me who leave their religion and say it deserve to be executed. And these are not just old ideas that are long gone. These are still ideas held by the majority of Muslim scholars and apologists and educators and Muslims around the world. So, unfortunately, in the Muslim world, I would never be allowed to give this speech that I'm giving right now. If I did give this speech, I would probably be lynched and brutally murdered, like many others have been over the many years. In Pakistan, this happens again and again, where somebody is falsely accused of disrespecting Islam. It only has to be an accusation, and people will go after that person and will brutally massacre them. In Europe, unfortunately, this problem is getting bigger and bigger because Europe made the stupid mistake, the very stupid mistake of allowing massive numbers of people to simply come in unchecked and to give people this idiotic impression that we all are the same. All cultures are the same. They are, anybody who comes from a different culture, no matter what they do, if they are among us, and they just see our kindness and our goodness and our civilization, they will just change and be just like us. It doesn't work that way. Now we have massive numbers of people in the UK, in Australia, in France, in Germany, in many other countries that actually want to start imposing Islamic rules. They have already started it. In the UK, it has become very much impossible to openly criticize Islam and get away with it. People go to jail because of it. We don't have that in America. America is still a free country where we still have freedom. But the issue is it wasn't always like this in Europe. Just several decades ago, the state that Europe is in right now was considered unthinkable. The same thing can happen very quickly if you do not watch out. In America, it can become similar quite quickly. We have, for example, a rising candidate for mayor in New York City, Zohran Mamdani. What do you guys think about him? Zohran Mamdani has said things such as that the end goal is to seize the means of production, which is an explicitly Marxist communist slogan and idea. He has condemned a statue of Columbus and said that we should take it down. He has called for defunding the police. He has been seen wearing terrorist rags and aligning with Hamas propaganda, for example. Hamas, by the way, right now is a very heated topic, but is the very same organization that openly praised Osama bin Laden, who explicitly took responsibility for 9/11. This is the organization. And we have their allies here in the United States, unchecked. Meanwhile, we have another state in the Middle East that some people, and I don't want to say any names today, that some people have an obsession with and that they likely would rather attack, Israel. Israel is often targeted by the very same people who will stand up and defend certain countries, like the Islamic regime of Iran, which very explicitly has it in their policies and every day says, death to America, death to Israel. The Islamic regime of Iran explicitly and officially calls America the great Satan and Israel the small Satan. On July 4th, on our day, on the day of America, a clergyman in the Islamic regime of Iran openly and publicly declared that Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu are two people who should be executed. These are his words, executed. I want to hereby, in solidarity, send all respect and greetings to those people of Iran who are not on the side of the Islamic regime and who are fighting for their freedoms. Because the Islamic regime of Iran is not just a danger to their own people, it's also a danger to the entire world. It is in their constitution, believe it or not, that the Islamic revolution that they accomplished should also be spread abroad, and other countries should also be led toward an Islamic revolution. And we have many Muslim scholars and apologists, and you will see that if you engage with my content, who very proudly and happily say that. So what is the solution? As an ex-Muslim, I think there are some things that we should not be afraid to address. There are certain things to do, such as learn about Islam, learn that it's not simply a religion, it's a political system. And yeah, not all Muslims are bad, whatever, I don't care. But the religion itself is pretty bad. If a person does not explicitly identify with political Islam and an attempt to overthrow the government, he is still part of a religious system that is pretty bad. So learn what Islam is, or amplify those who know about it, like me, shamelessly plugging myself here again. Another thing to do, the Muslim Brotherhood should be designated as a terrorist organization. Islamic influx and influence should be limited. There should be a prioritization of deporting explicitly Islamist organizations and people. I'm an ex-Muslim. I'm warning you here. My time is up. I see it. And I don't want to kind of, mess up my first speech here at Turning Point USA. So I just want to thank everyone who is here, all you wonderful, beautiful people. I want to thank Charlie Kirk for this opportunity. I want to thank Turning Point USA. Big applause for Turning Point USA, please. I want to thank all other ex-Muslims struggling out there. My friend David Wood, whom people should also follow and know, he's fantastic. All who give their lives. Recently, Salwan Momika, an activist in Sweden, was brutally murdered for daring to burn up the Quran in a protest. So I want to remember him. I want to thank you all. I want to thank God. And God bless you all, and God bless America.
Thoughts?
Whew. So it looks like and sounds like we're really heading down a path that so many people really want nothing to do with. That it is a challenging situation. Battles between faiths, and really it's not between faiths so much as it's zealots on various, I hate to use the word zealots, because it has very Jewish connotations to it, but it's people who are so fervent in their religion without recognizing that we're all children of Abraham, and that how do you convince somebody that your perspective is right? And in the end, the only way we can convince somebody that Christianity is better, by walking the path, by doing what Jesus asked us to do. And through example, people will want to say, you know what, that seems a lot better than all this hate that's preached in my religion. And there's not much else we can do about it until things get stupid. And then, Deu Vol. Hope says, why don't people just go and live in the country their God is celebrated and live peacefully with others like them? They can't even do it over there. The Shia and Sunni fight with each other, and they can't even get along because they're both rejecting the other faction side of the one religion that they have there within Islam. How many Christian factions are there? Is Westboro Baptist Church really a Christian organization? I mean, yeah, they call themselves that and they preach Jesus. I don't know which version of Jesus they're preaching, but they're preaching it. It's people's zeal for religion can be taken way too far, especially if they aren't paying attention to the words that they read. And once they pay attention to the words that they're reading, take those to heart and consider what their heart actually says about said words, and then trying to follow through with those. And then as people follow through with these various things, how does that make them feel at that point in time? It's the autopilot that human beings have been put in, that we're really trying to wake people up from their sleep. People are asleep. And the harvest is plenty, but the workers are few. Silver says, because it's an evil religion that encourages violence. Not necessarily denominations, but their God. And you know what? That actually speaks to what the Bible says is as people follow these various religions, they'll be judged based off of how well they follow their God, their religion. And it would fix a lot of things if people would just go to the book directly. And if people were taught the different books and the morality of each one of these kinds of philosophies. We do a disservice by merely vilifying other religions without understanding what they're talking about. Clearly, he understands Islam very well. He grew up in it, and his experience was one of a lot of hate. How people get comfortable with hate, what can we do about it? The only thing we can do is try to move forward with love.
Amen. You ready?
Good luck. Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's listen.
They say it's impossible. But who decides what's possible for me? I speak my dreams into existence until my voice becomes the only truth that matters. I inhale courage. I exhale fear. When doubt whispers, "You can't," I reply, "Watch me." I refuse to surrender to limitations because impossible is only a word used by those who stopped trying. I choose strength over weakness. I choose discipline over ease. My thoughts shape my reality, and my mind is my greatest weapon. Impossible is nothing, just a reason to fight harder, stand stronger, and show the world exactly who I am.
All right. So, the only thing we really can do is capture our thoughts, capture what it is we do with the stimulus that we receive in life. And the best thing we can do is to bounce it off of our understanding of God. Not everything. It had a lot of I statements in there, and really a lot of it isn't I. A lot of it is God and us being led in the direction that we are, being shown. And we have to accept that and understand that the decisions that we can make are the ones to choose, whether we choose God or we choose our fleshly desires, our earthly desires. That is the thing that we can take control of. And as we take control of those and capture those thoughts, and we make that decision, because that's where the decision is made, is based off of those choices. And once we make that decision, and for me, obviously, I'm doing the best I can to choose God with every single decision I make, even though I'm human and I know that I make mistakes. But as I choose God through experience, what I have recognized is that God has shown me a much more positive path forward, as opposed to the negative and really the choice of death by not choosing him. And I recognize that as I choose God more and more, that I do get tested, but those tests do help firm make my faith much more firm, rooted in the rock that is our creator. So make sure that you're capturing your thoughts. Make sure that you are making the decision and understanding that a thought is merely just a thought, and that thought is not coming from you. That thought is just from the computer that is the body that we have created with us. To make sure that you understand that you are the captain of your ship, and that you must captain your ship to the best of your ability and follow the path that you know to be right deep down inside. Thank you, Silver. It is a tough subject. It is a tough subject because there are, and I guess we're going back to that conversation now, but I think it's good. There are great people who are Muslims. There really are. I've met tons of them, and they believe in God with everything, and they choose to pick the more peaceful words. Just like there are people who choose in the Old Testament to take more of the harsh tactics that are spoken of in the Old Testament, as opposed to focusing more on the love and forgiveness that Jesus talks about. The love and forgiveness that Jesus talks about is what took down the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire definitely supported all gods, to include, Ares or Mars, who was probably equivalent to Moloch. And so all of these religions lived together under one, and there was one that came out on top, and that was proven during the reign of Constantine. And so we must follow our path that we know that we're supposed to be following, with all confidence and faith that God is fixing the world around us, and that the people with the hardest hearts have the ability to turn to God. And that's all we want to do, is we want people to turn back to God. Hope says, I guess I think about so many Christian missionaries going all over the world to spread the Father God's love and truth, and others come here to spread their hate and violence against us, our beliefs and country. And that is the problem. And it's something that the government should take issue with if there is any kind of religion that is attempting to take over the government to force everybody else to follow their faith. Because this country is the place where an atheist can live next door to a Christian, who can live next door to a Muslim, who can live next door to a Jewish person, who lives next door to a Buddhist, a Taoist, on and on and on and on. And there's even people who follow the Roman and Greek pantheons. Whatever. That's the beauty of America. It's about our ability to live with each other. And that's what the American experiment is supposed to be, even though it was more about getting away from the oppression of the kings and queens over in Europe, telling us how to live in their version of Christianity. Follow our own faith, friends. And that faith is based in the Bible. The Bible is the true faith. That is where all the answers are. And that's where we must go to and have faith and confidence, just like the promises that are made in the Bible, that if you leave it all to God, that he will take care of and protect you from all of the evils of this world. And that we must just go forth and provide that love to the world around us, so that way other people decide that they want to live in that loving place, because really, in the end, it's a much better life than the crap we've been looking at for the past however many years. Anyways, all right, I think that brings us to a close for the evening. So we love you all very much, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. Apparently, we're not doing the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're going to go ahead and do it every day of the week. Whatevs.
I'm gonna try.
We'll see. We're working on it. We're working on it. Anyways, so we'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, Locals, and Pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a minute and give us that virtual hug.
Kind of a weak and. But normally you do the and.
If you're on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. And if you're on Facebook, you have like 7 choices. So go over there and clickety click.
Press the heart. Whatever. Anyways. We appreciate all of you, and we thank you for joining us tonight. Y'all are amazing, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We love you all. Have a great night. Be safe, and God bless each and every one of you.